Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, so we hear all the time about AI in the cloud, right? But what if I told you there's another AI revolution, a quieter one, that's already running your car, your home, and your factory? Today, we're digging into that invisible intelligence and the company that's betting its entire future on it.
So let's start with the AI that grabs all the headlines. You know what I'm talking about? Cloud AI. This is the big stuff. The massive models churning away in giant data centers, writing poems, making art. It's incredibly powerful for sure, but it's got some pretty big drawbacks, like its need for a constant internet connection and a ton of energy.
Right, so to get around those limitations, there's this totally different approach that's really picking up steam: Edge AI. The idea is simple, but it's a game changer. Instead of sending all your data out to some server far away, the processing happens right there on the device itself. And what does that mean for you? Well, it's faster, like instantly fast. It works even when you're offline. And, maybe most importantly, it keeps your private data, well, private.
So that brings up a pretty big question, right? If this on-device AI is so crucial, who's actually building the brains for it? You might think it's one of the usual suspects, the big cloud giants. But nope. The real answer lies with a company that's playing a completely different game. Okay, so let's pull back the curtain and dive into this hidden world of Edge AI. Let's see what really makes it tick.
So, what is Edge AI, really? At its core, it's about bringing the intelligence right to where the action is. Think about a car's emergency braking system. You absolutely cannot afford to wait for a signal to go to the cloud and come back before you slam on the brakes. That decision has to happen in a split second, right on a trip inside the car. That's the power of the Edge.
And this isn't just a tiny technical detail. This combo of low power and high performance opens up a whole world of applications that the cloud just can't touch, especially on smaller gadgets. Plus, by keeping your data local on your device, the whole system is just fundamentally more private and secure. It's a win-win.
All right, this leads us to the main player we're talking about today, NXP Semiconductors. These guys have made a massive bet on edge technology. It's a deliberate choice, really. They've decided to become leaders here instead of trying to chase the giants in the cloud.
And this quote right here, it really says it all. NXP isn't trying to build the next big chatbot or image generator. Their focus is razor sharp to be the absolute best at embedding smart, efficient AI into the physical things we use every single day. Okay, so how in the world do they actually pull this off? I mean, how do you cram a powerful AI onto a teeny tiny chip that might have less memory than an old MP3 player, like under a megabyte?
Well, NXP's answer is pretty clever. It's a complete four-part toolkit. See, their strategy isn't just about selling a piece of silicon. It's about giving developers the whole package: the software, the hardware, the security, everything they need to make devices that can actually think for themselves.
And here's a closer look at how that ecosystem really fits together. First, you got their EQ software, which is like a magic shrink ray for huge AI models. Then, that super small model runs on their specialized IMX and S32 processors. And these chips have dedicated hardware accelerators built right in to make things fast. And finally, you have security tech like EdgeLock, which basically creates a digital vault on the chip to protect the AI and your data. Every single piece is designed to work perfectly with the others. That's their secret sauce. So that's the tech. But where do you and I actually see it? Let's talk about how this invisible intelligence is already showing up in our daily lives. This right here, this gets to the heart of the philosophy. The big takeaway is that AI doesn't always need the cloud. By moving the brains onto the device itself, NXP is enabling tech that isn't just about adding fancy features. No, it's engineered from the ground up to be faster, way more energy efficient, and a whole lot more private.
And we're not talking about some far-off future concept. This stuff is already out there. In your car, it's the system that can tell if a driver is getting drowsy, or it's the voice commands that work instantly, even when you're driving through a tunnel with no signal. In a factory, it's the AI that's spotting tiny defects on an assembly line that a human eye might miss. And at home, it's that smart doorbell that recognizes your face without having to upload your photo to some server in the cloud.
But, of course, NXP isn't doing this in a bubble. The world of edge AI is super complex and, frankly, very competitive. So let's take a look at the landscape they're up against.
Okay, so on the battlefield of edge AI, NXP's biggest strength is that complete all-in-one ecosystem we've been talking about. They have a really practical focus on what customers actually need, which gives them a real leg up. But they're also facing some serious challenges. Their name doesn't have the same AI buzz as the big cloud giants. The market is also super fragmented, with everyone wanting something different. And they've got some fierce competition from other specialized chip designers.
And this really brings it all home. NXP's vision isn't about building a bigger, flashier AI. It's about a totally different kind of scale. They're not chasing headlines about performance in the cloud. Their goal is to power billions of devices that run quietly, smartly, and right there beside you. You could call it a small but mighty approach to the future of AI.
And that leaves us with a pretty interesting question to think about. While that massive, very visible AI in the cloud gets all the press, this quiet, invisible revolution is happening at the exact same time. So the big question is, as our world fills up with trillions of connected devices, which one of these AIs is going to have the bigger impact on our lives in the long run? The giant in the cloud or the invisible intelligence at the edge? Thank you for watching the